YouTube. Let's see. Hi and welcome everybody on YouTube. It's Claudia Mühlenweg. We are here with Clear Vision Wednesday today. And my topic today is actually picking up on a free training I did last week, which was called See Better in Just 5 Days. And I talked about the 5 keys to naturally clear vision or to clear vision, and the 5 keys. And I'm going to go through these again and also give you additional little strategies that you can use in your daily life that, you know, a lot of times we don't have the tools or we don't have things that we want to practice with it. So I give you some simple strategies today. And when you're watching on YouTube, you can ask questions too, as well as obviously my Clear Vision Club members here with me on Zoom. So I just want to go over the 5 keys again. So the 5 keys of good, healthy, natural clear vision are movement. So there's different kinds of movements. We will go over those again. Then it's rest or relaxation. Rest for your eyes, relaxation for your mind. You can dive deeper into all of these. Then the third one, actually the order is, there's no like, the first one is not more important than the third one. Light. So we need light, right? Light and darkness, sunlight, natural light is super important for our eye health. Then we need fusion. So assuming you have 2 eyes, how do these eyes work together as a team? Much like our legs work together as a team, right? And with the hands, we can usually do things on one side only for a while, but it's still, we still usually need 2 hands to do stuff, really. And then the 5th key is imagination, which is, you know, you can combine it with memory. So memory and imagination, which is basically using your visualization skills, your visual cortex skills, beyond what you see with eyes open. So, and you can use imagination with eyes open and with eyes closed. So let's go back to the See Better in 5 days. What we did for movement was super simple. And the idea in that training was that we go from super easy to more complicated. So what we did in that training was 10 seconds of butterfly blinking. And let's all do that together. So basically what you want to do is just blink your eyes. You don't have to worry so much about speed, but imagine like your eyes are the wings of a butterfly. So you want to really easily blink them. Don't forget to breathe. All right, I don't have a timer, so I'm just keep going. We can do it longer. You can also do, if that is stressful for you, you can also do something called slow motion blinking, which is kind of really slowly lowering the eyes and then slowly opening again. But basically what you would be doing is practicing blinking. Blinking is one of the simplest and most effective things to clear things up. So that's what we do and did in the See Better in 5 days course. There's all kinds of other forms of movement. And one of them is simple to move your attention. So instead of looking at one place for a long time, or even if I don't have a book here with me, but even if you're reading a book, here's a piece of paper with different print sizes. Even if you're reading a book, you always want to move your attention and move your head along with it. So you don't want to just lock your gaze and stare at this. So there's always some kind of ease and effort, there's some kind of motion going on, but also shifting your attention near and far. So when you're reading, maybe once in a while, look up, also looking around, being aware of your peripheral vision. And then another modality that we teach in the Naturally Clear Vision method and the Bates method as well is shifting and swinging. So swinging is basically the idea that you're moving your attention and you see, you know, you can do a big swing, you can go all the way. But when it comes to daily life, you're probably not going to stand in the store and be like, hey, let's do the long swing, you know, and move around, you know, but you can be swinging on a swing set like a kid. It's really about creating movement and having your gaze move. Doesn't matter if it's near or far, side to side. You just want to keep your attention moving around. And that could be this little bit of a paragraph on your phone, and it could be bigger movements, you know, like sometimes I like to just sway side to side. You know, you're in a museum, let's say, or you're in a music festival and you've been standing for a while, and it just feels good to shift side to side and just kind of move around a little bit, you know, like however inconspicuous you want to do that or however big you want to do that. So that's movement has so many levels, and it's not just the eye movement. You want to always move your head and depending on how big your movements are, your body and the eyes together. So rest and relaxation. In the 5-day program, we talked about palming. Palming is when you rub your hands together, especially if they're cold, and then you close your eyes and you cup some people call it cupping, but you basically cover your closed eyes You can take a few deep breaths. Really important in palming is to bring up something that makes you happy, relaxed. So it's not just a physical rest for your eyes, it's really a rest for your mind, a way to relax just like you would in meditation. And it's never about not having any thoughts. It's just about being in this present moment, being aware of everything that's happening and everything you're feeling while you deeply relax your eyes. And we're not going to do a whole session here, but if you want to come out of palming, you keep your eyes closed. Then you wait till the light feels good, take your time. And then you do what we did in movement, the blinking, you blink, 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 your eyes open. And I like to do a little squeezes, and that really lubricates your eyes. So that's one way to rest your eyes. One way is to close, and the other way we didn't talk about is just closing your eyes. There's nothing, assuming you feel safe, all of these things, if you're in line at the grocery store, you might be like standing there, eyes closed, and then somebody pushes the cart into your heels. So, you want to do that when you feel safe. I've actually done palming outside in parks. That was in Germany. Depending on where you live, you do want to feel safe because otherwise you can't relax. But there's another way you can relax, or you can rest your eyes, especially when you're at home. And you've probably all done this. Like I get this asked all the time, eye masks. So palming has the wonderful capability, your nerve endings in your hands and the warmth. But you can also do, this is a mask I love to use on flights. It's unfortunately made out of plastic, so it's not like organic materials, but it has these kind of holes in here. And this one really blacks out all the light. This one is really great if you want to rest your eyes, or you just at night you want it really dark, but there's light coming in from the neighbors. So this one like totally makes everything super black, as if you're in a dark cave. This is like the best one I found, but unfortunately it's made from plastic, called Mindfold. And then you can also use other eye masks. So this is another way to rest your eyes if you just want to kind of relax and don't hold your hands up. So this is a mask. This is a little organic cotton mask that my daughters made me when they were still cute and young. I'm just kidding. But they made this kind of little cute eye mask with hearts for me for Mother's Day one year. So this is a nice mask. Or what I also like, I don't know what this brand is. This is from a brand called Barefoot Yoga, something. But this is a nice mask. It's fit like lavender, and I don't know, something else, a really fine little grain. So obviously this doesn't have a strap. You would have to be on your back, but just, resting your eyes. And maybe with glaucoma, you don't want to have too much pressure on your eyes. It's with palming, you always have this little gap. So this one would be a little bit more directly on your eyes, but this might feel really relaxing, just like weighted blankets might feel really good when you're anxious. So kind of adding that groundedness. You obviously, I can't show this here. You have to lay on your back, otherwise it would fall down. But this is there's the smell of lavender, feels so good. This is made out of silk. All right, so these are just some options for closing your eyes or palming your eyes, just a way to rest your eyes, relax your system. Could be an eye mask too. I personally, when possible, palming is always my top choice, but if I'm just outside or I just want to take a quick break, just closing your eyes a little bit more, just giving them this little reset. You don't always have to do the whole production with an eye pillow and palming. All right, with light. So we talked about light, we talked about sunning, and sunning is just a nice way to reduce light sensitivity. I can't really demonstrate it here because I'm not outside, but I've shown this before. You can use it at home. You can use a flashlight. You can do some sunshine like this. It's not as great as the actual natural light, but you can give your eyes some nice light exposure. Ideally, the best way to do it is go outside, not wear sunglasses if that's okay for you, and or even on overcast days. So explore sunlight exposure is the best thing to do first thing in the morning. I don't have my infrared lamp here, but you can also do infrared light a couple of times a week, 2 to 3 minutes, has been shown to improve mitochondria function in older retinal cells. So it's a really great way. And sunlight has infrared light rays embedded. So if you go out on a natural, outside during the day, you will get that benefit too. And then the other thing with light is we talk about blue blockers all the time. So blue blockers, are only helpful for screens. We want blue light during the day, but at night during the day, if you work in an environment where you have artificial light and you have no chance to go outside or have daylight. My younger daughter works in a new place right now, and there's no natural daylight whatsoever. So in that case, you do want to wear blue blocking glasses because these fluorescent lights are really terrible for our eyes. But if you have natural daylight in your home, then I usually recommend blue blocking software such as Iris or Flux, or maybe your computer has, like Apple devices have night shift mode. That would be my option. But if you work in an environment where you can't control your computer settings or you don't have natural light, then I recommend that blue blocking glasses. These are from Too Dark. These are yellow, but they come in lots of different styles. They also come in clear. So the yellow ones block a little bit more blue light than the clear ones, but these are an option. And then at night, these are from Raw Optics. These are orange. These are kind of nice when you get more into the darker, like toward bedtime. This blocks more blue light, or the most amount of blue blocking is when you have these red glasses. And so these glasses are fit overs from Too Dark, meaning you can fit them over existing glasses. So that's why they look so big, because they're meant to fit over real glasses. But you can also get these, and you can also get them like in this design. But this is what I recommend when you are getting tired. The red ones really, when you want to go towards sleep, and maybe you are a night shift worker, or you have to go to sleep when it's daytime outside, or somehow your rhythm is different, or even if you just watch TV at night and you just want to get tired, these are a great option. So that's for light. One more thing, when you do sunning, you can also do something kind of a flickering effect where you just move your hands really quickly. So that also stimulates your pupillary reaction and your saccadic eye movement. So that's some kind of flicker effect. Don't do that if you have a tendency to get seizures. That's not recommended. So that's topic light. And then the fourth key was fusion. And so fusion, what we did in the 5-day training was the hot dog, which is the idea that you don't look at your fingers. You would look in the distance and you see a little either floating, or if you touch your fingers, a little sausage. I'm looking at my computer right now, so I see a little sausage. Or the other way, that's diverging. It's called diverging. And I know it's a lot of information here, but the other one is where you cross your eyes. So I cross my eyes and I see a little hot dog. And that might be challenging for you because you don't have a focal point. So another way to practice fusion is using your fingers. And most of you have done this. I call it the finger gate, but you have your fingers in line with your nose, and it doesn't really matter what distance. You can totally vary that up. But basically, you would look at one finger. Let's say I'm looking at my closer one. You see two fingers in the back. And if you have a third object, I have a water bottle there, you can do it with a water bottle or a tree or something. And then when I shift my attention to the other finger, here, the second one, then I see two fingers in the front. This is really good to check your posture too, because I'm looking at this finger here. And now if I do this, the two fingers I see in the front, I will be doing this kind of movement. And when they're parallel to each other, that's when you actually have your head straight. And then I thought of something else for fusion. Let me actually see if there's questions on YouTube. No, I don't see anything. Hey, Tammy. So let me see. So, most of us use phones, and maybe you're one of those people that use the AirPods. I haven't actually switched because of the EMFs, so I haven't used those little Bluetooth thingies. So I have the old-fashioned headphones with the string. And this is a great way to practice your fusion, because you can use this like a Brock string. You have to just hold the phone a little bit like this, or however you want to do it. But here you go. You can hold the string under your nose, and maybe people look at you a little weird when you're in the store or when you're in the bus or the train, but then you can look at your string and you should see two strings. You should see two headphone cables crossing like an X. And if you want to get fancy, you can even put clips on it. You can do little clips. Oh, now they're sliding, but and then you can actually have little target markers. That's probably a little bit more, not so much of a daily habit. That would be more like you have to remember the clips. Or what you can also do, you can just draw with a Sharpie if you're not one of those people that minds it, but you can draw with a Sharpie. You can make little I don't have a Sharpie here, but you can put little stripes on your cable, and then you can practice, using the string and hitting those little black markers. So I don't have one right now, but you can kind of, like a little bug, that you can kind of walk along the string up and down and see how good your targeting works. So this is something I thought of that's convenient, because we usually have this stuff with us. Let's see what else. I'm looking at my notes. So that's pretty, I mean, you can practice fusion in so many ways, but that's just simple things that most of us carry with us during the day. And oh yeah, one more thing. In my teacher training, I had to come up with a device. So I did this. I have it. We had to come up with a vision training device. So I did this. A little baseball cap. And I put this little, I cannot sew. People look at this. This is tape. This is Scotch tape. Don't think I'm in any way. So now, this is probably not something you would carry around, but maybe if you're a little bit more, you can have a clip and you can tie it up there. But now you can look in the distance and you see two strings, or you can cross your eyes and you can look at the one. And now I see two mini-me's on the computer screen. So you can do this without the fingers with this kind of contraption. It's probably not as handy, but I thought I'd show you. I try to come up with something fun for fusion practice. Okay, and now the last thing, my hair looks all messed up from the eye masks and the hat. The last thing is imagination. And in the 5-day training, we use the idea of a black dot, a black period, something that Dr. Bates worked with a lot. And the easiest way to do it is to actually, let me see, I don't have it here, but actually look at a black dot, actually draw a little black dot on a piece of paper, or maybe you have some text, and maybe you have a black dot right there as a black dot. Maybe you have something you can use as an example. And so, or you just draw one, or you print one, however you want to do it. And so you look at it first, and then you close your eyes. And now you have a memory of the dot. And now in your imagination, you can do all kinds of cool things. First of all, can you imagine the black dot? If so, can you make it maybe a little bit smaller? Can you make it a little bit bigger? And you don't want to stare at your black dot. Remember that movement idea. So you maybe in your imaginary dot, you're moving your attention around the dot, left to right, up and down. So the dot maybe moves a little bit. Because as you move your attention from the left to the right, let's say, the dot will probably move a little bit to the left. So the better your vision, the more you will kind of find an oppositional movement happening. So this might all sound a lot. I could not do this at all. But so can you imagine a black dot? And maybe even imagine it in the back of your head. So instead of floating in front of you. And then the next level would be to open your eyes. And now, can you imagine the black dots, something in some kind of dark object? See, I have the school poster behind me. Can you imagine the black dots inside that black wooden, whatever you call it, wood strip there? And what I like to think of is like, as if I had a black Sharpie or black ink or even blacker paint, and I paint a little dot on top. So can you imagine that wherever you're looking on that little, whatever black object, or here my sweater, or your own, whatever you have in your own environment, can you imagine there's a little blacker dot inside? Because that helps you practice central focus or central fixation, which is the concept that our fovea can only see the sharpest, that we only see sharp in the fovea. And wherever we look, especially if we look at letters, I always have my trusty Snellen Eyesight here. When we look at a letter, wherever we look at the letter, it's where it looks best or blackest. And wherever we don't look, it looks more gray or not as good. And I know we have the light reflection here, but practicing seeing black inside objects or inside a letter, the little black dot, will really help you clear up your vision. So that's one. Another one you can use with imagination is that really helped me because I was farsighted. I was struggling with reading. So imagine that the white between lines is really, really white, like super bright white, because our brain always compares contrast. So if you have just white, you would think, oh, the clutter, this is white. But now my walls are also white behind me. Now this looks a lot whiter than my walls, right? we also have the eye chart here. So now what looks wider, right? We always compare stuff. So this, you would say this is white, but now you look at this, you're like, this is wider than maybe a little more blue. So it's actually a visual illusion, but when we look at white next to black, it appears to be more white because of the contrast. This works with little print, it works with big letters on eye charts, but wherever the white touches the black, it seems to be just a little bit more white. And using this imagination of what Dr. Bates called a thin white line, because all these letters sitting on as if they're sitting on a little shelf, as if you were to take a white little marker and you would underline the rows of text. And that makes the black letters blacker, and that makes everything crisp and clear. So especially if you have astigmatism and you have that kind of shadow, focusing on the blackness and the whiteness of the white, especially the whiteness of the black background, that really helped me clear up the letters initially and forget about the shadow. And that works as well with an eye chart for distance vision. So that's just different ways how you can practice your imagination skills. There's many other ways you can practice your imagination skills, but those are just some focused, especially for clarity and crispness, that you can use during your day. You know, nobody will know that you imagine a black dot inside somebody's black jacket or something as you go about your day. So that's an easy way. Or when you're reading a book or a magazine, that you imagine the white a little wider. So those are easy ways to do. And another thing that I like to use, that I used to do for a while, that was really fun, is this is more memory, but like look at an object and let's see, what do I have here? Let's see, I have this little chapstick thingy. So, you know, you look at this little chapstick thing, let me see, it looks really white, you can't really see, but see, half of it is orange and then the top is white. I don't think it shows up really well in my Zoom here. But so you're like, okay, well, what is the proportion of the white to the bottom, right? And then you close your eyes and like, how good is your memory? And maybe using the imagination, how good is that of an object? And I actually used to do that, look at something, look away and then draw it and see how close, and you want to stay with really simple objects. So sometimes I have my clients, I'm like, look at the charts, pick a letter, and now look at it for however long you want, and now look away and then draw it. And it's interesting how barely, you know, anyone actually gets even a simple letter. I mean, the O maybe, but even the other, the serifs, what's the space, how thick is the white compared to the black, getting all that right. And this is not about artistry, it's really about how good is your observation. So those are some tips that you can use in daily life. Because everybody is always thinking it's eye exercise, and it's really using your eyes, your mind, and your visual skills well all day long. And these good habits will make a big difference throughout your day. So I always see, one thing I didn't talk about today was color of the day, but simple stuff that can just remind you to pay attention where you're at. So color of the day, you know, I don't know where you would fit that into the category, but maybe you would fit that into light, because color is only seen with light, right? At night, we don't see any color. So using this as kind of a kickoff ideas, you know, for you to implement good vision habits into your life based on the 5 keys of vision improvement. So I'm looking at the questions. I don't see any questions. I just say, somebody said, great idea, thank you. And so I will close the YouTube live stream if there's no other questions, but really think beyond the vision practice. Think beyond, how can I implement this particular key of good vision? How can I practice fusion? What are other things I can practice fusion? You know, you maybe have these red and blue goggles or something, but this requires a tool, right? This is not something you can just do as you go about your day, but how are there other ways you can practice your fusion? So many, just being aware that wherever you don't see, wherever you don't look, everything doubles up. So when you look at your phone, you know, and then you see that there's everything else in the background is doubled. So just being aware of that, it doesn't mean that you pay attention to that all day long. So I hope this was helpful. And I'm going to be back next week. And next week, we're going to have a guest I'm super excited about, talking about sleep. Sleep is very important for all health functions, but also for your little eyesight, for your eyes. All right, bye YouTube. I don't see any more questions. Thank you for those ideas. You're welcome.